It's gonna be awkward.
2, 1. Welcome back.
We're here doing it again.
Yes, we are. We're not stopping.
And
And
you do the
we're
math.
back with another week.
We are back with another week.
Socially Awkward Podcast.
Yeah, man, and it's cool, man. The zoo is growing. So
Thriving. Awkward animals.
Feels
are
good to say
growing.
that again. I feel like we haven't said awkward animals in a while. So for new listeners that haven't heard us say that, that's what you are. If you listen, you are an awkward animal.
Yeah, we're just all animals, and we're all a little awkward, and we're all just trying to make our way.
That's exactly it.
Making our way downtown, dude.
Making our way downtown. You know what else we're trying to do? All as individuals, all the time, just every day, in one way or another.
Express
We're
ourselves.
all just trying to express ourselves.
That's it, dude.
So this week, express yourself. How ridiculousness was that? Felt very ridiculousness that. And this week is all about
Express yourself.
that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen in the show. But
Might.
express these nuts. Check it out.
Yeah, no. Expressing's a big thing.
Yeah, and that's what this episode's all about is expressing yourself. And I'm not sure what exactly about expressing yourself we're going to talk about. Like,
Well, I think we were gonna
just in general.
originally when we thought about doing this, it was just kind of diving into different pockets of expression, different pockets of self-expression.
But I think it's okay for us to talk. I would say we should focus more on the unorthodox methods of self-expression. Because, like, I guess the easy one, we can just knock this out. We can knock out some of the easy ones, but like
Well, yeah, I mean, we just list some of them off.
clothes. That's a general way of self-expression that I think everyone does in some way, shape, or form. And even the people that are against like
style
fashion
in general.
Yeah. But like for the people that are like, oh, I don't dress and I don't wear like nice things, or I just wear a t-shirt and jeans every day.
That's
It's
expressing yourself.
still expressing yourself.
It is. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to avoid it in some cases. Your hair.
I was just gonna say that too. Hair is like a form of.
I think anything that's style is sort of like your style is just a way of expressing yourself without really saying it.
Yeah.
I saw that on a quote one time.
I would agree with that, and like it goes. And then also another easy one would be ink.
Yeah,
Tattoos. Tats.
Yeah.
Those are the main, I would say, with your body that we can knock out. That I would
Piercings.
say piercings. Yeah,
Facial hair. You know,
facial hair, but
that goes into style
and hair.
Right.
It's still hair. There's even body hair. Like there's literally a million different things.
Yeah, I mean, you could get into the nitty gritty of it.
And then obviously there's like certain opinions that people could have and stuff like that. But I also wouldn't mind touching on some of the forms of self-expression that we're like for, and then some of it that we're not for. Like some of the weird ones that we're kind of like,
okay, well,
here's that.
Yeah, we'll start off. Here's a little underhand soft pitch one.
Little Pokemon ball.
Little soft pitch. One that I personally am not with, but people do it. It's innocent enough. Bumper stickers.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, and that's something that, you know, I don't know why I was raised, I guess, to not like bumper stickers.
You could say that. You could say
We were
that.
in the same house, and that was
It's also
somewhat
me
of a
with
thing.
bumper stickers.
But just window stickers, any kind of stickers on the car, dude. I just don't like it.
Unless it's a Weber Boys sticker,
That's true.
it's the only thing
yeah,
that's acceptable.
that's true.
If we had ASV Elite stickers, that'd be cool too. But
Yeah, but for now, just the Weber Boys stickers are pretty much the only acceptable ones, and especially like the family ones. You know, like those are the ones that really get me, because you're driving along in your minivan, and right behind you is a psychopath. Right? He's a serial killer, and he's looking to take out families.
But that's a
That
little bit of an
becomes-
irrational.
No, it's
fear,
not,
a little
dude.
bit.
It's not. We live in a world of psychopaths, dude. And you've got just a hit list on your minivan back window.
But we were having, I think we had this conversation with Shay, and then, but I brought up a good point that I think is a good point, and that's don't have a minivan at all. Because if you have a minivan, that's
True.
You're not a single couple.
Okay, but a Tahoe, whatever it is, dude. Just
I hear you.
any of those family vehicles.
Those ones are strange. And then also too, a weird one that we saw in term, like a little sub branch of that. This was super popular when we were growing up, but like they were doing these ones that would look like a hockey puck was stuck into the windshield, and it had like the broken glass decal around it, or it'd have a basketball,
I
or
always
it'd have a
thought those
soccer
were
ball.
the hockey ones were cool. The other ones were kind of corny because obviously basketballs are a lot bigger and would never.
They're not going to just
stuck in
break
in
through a window. It would pop, and
Yeah, like same thing with
the
all
soccer ball.
Yeah, like maybe a baseball if it was hit just right, but
Yeah.
a hockey puck's really the only one that could happen with. I like those ones.
You did?
Yeah,
I just felt like they were weird sticking out the back,
I thought they were cool on houses too. Like just the idea of them were cool.
Huh.
I didn't need them.
Yeah, no,
I
got
now
you.
as an adult. I sure as shit wouldn't allow it.
No, I got you.
I sure as shit wouldn't allow it. I just as a kid I thought they were neat.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so that now another one, like some other forms of bumper stickers though. We can just keep rattling them off. Religious ones. That's not the place.
Yeah, just
You're not saving anyone at a fucking red light.
if anyone, they're getting more mad because, and then they're like, so one thing I've noticed is usually when they have those decals, they typically aren't speeders. They don't
Yeah.
speed usually.
Right.
So, and I don't know if that's coincidence or what, but when you're stuck behind them and you're running late and the Lord's not in your back seat because he's pissed at you for doing whatever you were doing, taking too long with your beard or your hair.
You're on the wrong end of karma.
You're on the wrong end of karma. And then you just got homie in front of you.
And you got
just-
honk for Jesus in front of you.
And you're honking, you're mad, and
Yeah.
he's,
And he's
waving on.
waving, thinking, oh
Thinking-
yeah, see a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear that, dude. And in fact, I think you're doing more harm than good. The religious ones. The same thing with
Yeah.
the atheist. Like if you're anti-religion, I think that
Yeah.
you're doing more harm than good there too, because it's just nailing the coffin.
The other
Nailing
one
the
that was
coffin
always weird to me too, it's like,
on people's opinions.
yeah, like all the obviously the political ones, get them out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I feel like that's a obvious.
And it's
one at
like-
this point.
When your dog loses and you got the year, 'cause they always have the year with it. What they should do is not do that and not put the year on it to where like if they run again, like Bernie Sanders has ran a couple times and people are still rocking
Even-
the sticker from 2016.
Even then, dude, like I feel like if you're not willing to get a tattoo of it, don't put it on your car.
Fair.
And if you are willing to get a tattoo of it,
Just get the tattoo.
just get the fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
The only exception I think are bands. Here's what I'll make an exception for, dude. If you gotta have stickers on your car, I'll do bands or like a podcast or like a maybe
If you're supporting something,
yeah maybe like a brand that you're really supportive of, but don't overdo it, because like
but like I don't know, like it feels weird. Like if you're supporting something like kind of smaller and local, like for instance, you're supporting like a show or you're supporting like a podcast. Like podcasts have a very like niche feel to them, but like
It's a community-based
So someone will have
thing.
a Rogan sticker on a car, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But if you're like big into say Fox, and that's where you get your media from, or your
don't
that's
get
where
a
you
Fox
yeah.
sticker. No, I hear that.
Or like an NBC sticker, the little logo.
If it's
little-
more of a community-based thing,
Mhm.
then yeah. But that's the same thing with bands.
But you got to be careful too, because you got people that are gonna say like you get the community thing, and then they start getting into the workout thing, but then they start putting how long they ran the last little mile thing they did, or the 13.2 or the 4.2 or the 5 point. And you see all those little numbers that I thought were
Oh,
I don't know if they were
Radio.
walkie-talkie
I thought they
radio.
were radio stations.
I did too,
dude.
and then I was like,
thought
there's
they
no
were
radio
supporting-
station that's-
Well, I think for a minute there were radio stations that were handing those out if you gave them money. Like K-Love. There's a Christian radio station, K-Love, and I used to always see stickers of 105.5 on. Speaking of religious shit,
That's a double decker right there.
I used to see these 105.5 stickers on the back of cars, and that's what that was for.
Yeah.
That was before though, like all these big races became such a thing, and then you see all the 10K and different measurements. But
it's just,
it's confusing.
It's confusing, and then
if you're not a runner.
Also, too, man, like you're blocking up the windshield. It's hard to see out the back. You're not fully safe.
Right. And this brings us, oh dude, how about this? How about the full back windshield stickers? You get a big American flag with a Blue Lives Matter thing.
I know you're
double decking again, dude.
You are double decking again because now you're taking your political stance and you covered up your whole fucking back window.
And you've endangered everyone around you. So,
yeah, have fun reversing by that guy, or have fun with that guy reversing behind you.
I mean, he's probably got a backup camera, but
maybe though.
Anyways, dude, moving on from that brings us to
one more thing in the car.
Well, I was gonna say license plates.
Okay, cool.
Is that where you're
That's where I was
heading?
heading. That was the road I was taking.
All right. So, yeah, that leads us right down the ass of the car to its license plate.
Which we've touched on before on the show. If you've been a listener for a while, you would know that we talked about this on one of the episodes in the prologue.
Yeah.
But
I can't think of one that's like...
That moved me.
Yeah, unless you've got a fleet of vehicles and you're trying to tag them for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll give you an example. Turtle in Entourage had a business called Limhos.
Yeah.
And all of those limos had the same license plate. Yep. It was a fleet of his vehicles, and they were numbered 1 through however many.
Yeah. That's cool.
Perfectly. That's neat, dude. That's cool. And I think if you even do that, if you even do that personally, like if you just do your initials 1 through whatever, Iron Man had Stark and then the number, that's fine.
Yeah, if you're just some dude, you got a lot of money and you got a bunch of cars laying around and you just want to number them up.
If you got a fleet, dude, that's what I'm saying. If you got a fleet of vehicles. But if you're not referring to your cars as a fleet, don't have custom plates.
Yeah.
Because it's hard enough to decipher what the fuck you're trying to say.
It's distracting too.
It's hard, dude. And you're trying to drive.
But they've just got these ones, man, that are like
Zupker.
I remember seeing that one. I've seen Zupker.
Zookeeper.
And
Z almost got in an accident trying to get us to Zupker.
No, I saw that when I was young.
Oh.
But because we were with Mom. We were driving with Mom. She's like, "What's Zupker?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I started looking at her like, "No, I think it's Zookeeper."
Yeah, Zookeeper.
But still, though, like,
I think it was funnier when you almost got in an accident.
Have the title. No, I get you, but I've just almost been in accidents before for other license plates.
All right, license plates are too much.
They are, because the other thing is too is it just seems so forced a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And they're trying to like say you drive a nice car,
right?
And then like you have a license plate, like, all right, say you got a Porsche,
right.
Okay,
yeah,
and it's too fast,
and
it's just like, come on,
what are you gonna do when a Bugatti pulls up next to you?
Yeah, and then you're like, oh fuck, like I got.
And then the Bugatti has 2.4 GPA,
but it's
on his plate.
Yeah, and you've got an Arizona Wildcats banner around your fucking thing.
Yeah, dude.
And that's another form of self-expression. It goes down to the license plate holder. I like to golf. I like to cool.
My other car is
my other car's at the lake. Awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking who cares? We don't know you.
Or how about this, dude? This is a pet peeve of Shay's that she brought to the table, and it wasn't even a big deal for me until she said something. Is when cars have their own Instagram, and then the cars,
there's that skit about that,
and then there's a decal with the Instagram handle on the window of the car.
Yeah, it's a weird thing for people that have.
It's in the that was a thing.
It's a huge thing in the car game. Yeah, and then. That dude who's always on Facebook did a skit about it too. It's actually funny as shit.
That In-N-Out guy?
Yeah, Trevor. So, yeah, dude, it's a weird thing that people do. And my thing is this with car stuff. Say you're pulling into a bank or something. somewhere you're gonna go stand in line.
Yeah.
Are you just hoping that whatever you're expressing yourself on with your car, that someone just be in the hey, you the like the golf guy? Are you the at whatever stinky Subaru 69? Is that you?
Yeah, dude. Well, you know what it's like? It's like how we've got our not our Instagram, but our Xbox Live, you know, or the Xbox or PlayStation gamer tags.
Mm-hmm.
And you make them be like these outrageous, crazy, you know, gamer tags.
Yeah.
And did that just shut off? Can you check? We're just going to double check and make sure I don't get kicked off again. We're good? These guys thumbs up, so it means we're good. But you got these crazy gamer tags.
Yeah.
But no one ever knows who you are. At best, they'll hear your voice talking shit in the lobby. But that's it. Versus here, like you're saying, you got to go to the bank and someone pulls in. You cut someone off, right? The guy who you cut off is going to the same place as you. He's got to read your license plate, see where you went to college, or see what your other vehicle is. And then he's got to just see your family on the back of the windshield and been like, you know what, dude? What if the purge was a thing?
And then you've got like 4 different sports teams in one sport.
Mm-hmm.
So you got like the Coyotes, the Avalanche, the fucking Red Wings. I've seen that. Not necessarily with hockey.
Yeah, definitely not with hockey.
But you see it with like, you'll see like the Cardinals and the Cowboys. And then you got like, and then they're also a Patriots fan or something, you know, like they've got like 4 teams on there and then a college team, maybe 2 college teams. And then if you were to ask them like, well, here's what happened. I got kids. One of them went to Alabama. One of them went to Florida. Then one became a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cardinals fan because I live here. But then my other cousin or kid went to Massachusetts and became a Patriots fan.
What do you think? Like,
and then I put a Diamondback sticker on.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. All right, so then what do you think are some other ones that are big, not car related or body related?
Not car related or body related. I thought I had one more point to bring up, but maybe I don't. Other forms I would say are through social media. That's a huge one. I would say that's the next biggest thing other than like being your actual self.
Yeah.
It's virtually yourself.
It's your digital self.
Your digital self.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually pretty toxic, to be honest, because I think it's escalated over time and you have like more like so a lot of people in social media have gotten better status, I guess, or more followers, or they've seen results from expressing themselves a certain way. So for a common viewer, they're going to want to model themselves after those people because that's how they did it. So they think that it's going to work for them. So now we have a whole flood of fucking bunch of people doing the same thing.
Right.
Essentially. And it's kind of like a watered down Conor McGregor, Kylie Jenner, Gary V fucked up mosh pit of the 3, pretty much.
You're and depending on who you are, you're kind of leaning in one direction or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that's an interesting.
And then Kim Kardashian, you can throw in there 2 female, 2 male.
That's an interesting little stew that you just pulled together there. And I think the toxicity of the city of our city.
Yo,
is
get me fired up, man.
Dude, no, I think the toxicity of social media is dependent on the individual's involvement, right? Like I think for me, I've had a lot more toxic relationships with social media than I have right now. You know, like right this second, I don't feel like the pressures of social media that I felt at different points in the past. I don't feel like I'm not worried about the growth of my social media anymore. Like there's a whole lot of different things, and now like I use it mainly to find new stuff to grill, and it's just like a thing I do when I shit, and that's mainly it, dude. Like I don't even.
I mean, I use it a lot because I do so much marketing, but
Well, if it's not sharing something business though, like I'm not scrolling and I'm not hunting for my own growth on my personal page is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where the toxicity comes from. That's where the stress comes from, and your personal self of like, fuck, social media is such a strain on my existence.
Yeah, so then people stop expressing themselves for who they actually are. They start expressing this version of themselves they think they want to be, but they don't actually want to be. They just think they want to be because it just created this facade.
Right.
And I don't know, it just feels it's so manufactured that it's tough to tell. Like I think the self-expression with social media is definitely the trickiest form of it because you get it a little bit with clothes and stuff. You get like hype beasts with streetwear and stuff like that. Like you see these dickheads spending however much money. Yeah, definitely.
I think with style and like how you dress, you can go home and change how you dress and immediately
get back to yourself.
That's a completely different deal. Like people that go to work, right, and they have a 9 to 5, but then they go home and put on their streetwear.
Yeah,
it's like a completely night and day thing versus your social media presence is something that you establish over time, just like your regular in-person presence. Your reputation in person is something that gets established over time,
right,
and gets changed over time. So it's a lot harder to control than how you dress, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, and it sucks too because like so many people I feel like get sucked in a little bit. And then like I would say like the main form of it though that they express themselves on social media, well, they're different. I would say Instagram has its own form, and then I would say main form of the way that people are trying to express themselves, and that's lifestyle. Everyone's trying, I feel like, to promote their lifestyle in some way, shape, or form, and trying to they internally compare with the other people that are on it. Facebook's a lot different. You've got people, that's where the political stuff comes in. And it's not really sharing much about lifestyle. It's sharing all about your opinions on whatever's going on in the world. And that's been that way even before all of this going on. It's been like that, I feel like, since.
Well, I think now, though, we've gotten to the point where even Instagram is at that level.
It's for sure gotten there. It's crossed over.
And even now, like even before all this started, we were seeing people screenshotting tweets and screenshotting posts and whatever and bringing it over across the different platforms. And that goes back to like what we were saying about how it's just the same people at the same people at different clubs.
Yeah.
It's just the same shit. No matter what app you go on, you're going to see the same top post.
Yeah.
If you're following the same things on each of these platforms.
Well, see, that's the thing I don't. So I go like, and I have such a weird, I don't even know actually who a decent amount of my Facebook friends are. So you just kind of see things and you almost look to see what people are doing and how they're expressing themselves or what, where they're at mentally and stuff like that. But I would say my favorite form of it, to be honest, like within social media, not even to be honest, it's fucking by far, I think it's everyone's favorite. And that'd be like the comedy meme sharing type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like even the ones that have nothing to do with politics. It could have something to go on with the world, but like there's just some funny shit, man, that's so random that that's my favorite form of self-expression on social media.
Same, dude. I think any form of comedic meme, not any form. I think like if your true intention is to make anyone laugh, then I think it's good.
Yeah.
If your goal is to hurt someone and you think that that's funny, you're tearing someone down and that builds you up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of that. I think that there's funnier ways to be
Yeah, there definitely is.
that don't have to hurt people. And then I think that like anything that's nostalgia.
Yeah,
you know,
nostalgia
like-
stuff is always fun. It brings people back a little bit.
Yeah, just to their younger days. Like I know anytime I see like a 90s post, it just brings the animosity of the whole feed down. Or even something from the
Yeah.
2000s, like just a TBT.
But you
where
see
it's
the
like-
guard down in the comments too, because other people
Yeah.
are like, and that's even a different form of it. Like people expressing themselves in the comments
Right.
about it, and it's way more positive on that kind of stuff than it is really anything else, because people are all at that same point. They're like, oh, I remember that. And it's like the one time in internet history in the past 2 years, not internet history, but internet in the past 2 years is the only time we ever see people actually get along and connect, is when it's decade related and other people are in that decade.
Right.
Like, cause you even see like older people's stuff like come up. Well, I do, cause I have to search it all the time for, marketing, but,
Generations stick together.
yeah, you see the generation stuff, and,
More than anything else. That's interesting. Generations do stick together more than anything else.
well, I mean, even look at our numbers on our
Does it line
episode for YouTube.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily translate with audio, but like for the YouTube, it's crazy like that people are interacting and commenting a lot more than any other video.
Right.
And I think that the generation stuff is, I would say that's probably everyone's main form of, that's everyone's safe spot for expressing themselves. I think it's a safe spot for sure,
Right.
which is cool.
What about like Jobs?
Jobs, Steve Jobs. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No. Actually, I'll ask it better. Do you think that there's more self-expression in jobs or hobbies?
I would say,
And would that explain people's happiness levels?
that's a good fucking question, because
It depends on
it depends on the person for sure.
right, because we can take it industry by industry, and obviously artistic industries like music, film, food, actual art.
Well, I know for like if I think about myself, for instance, like a lot of my hobbies and my work intertwine quite a bit,
Yeah.
and they're somewhat one and the same. Not exactly. Like I'm super musical, for instance, and I'm not a musician, so I don't make any money, but I've used it for certain projects or certain videos. So in a way, it's kind of all the same to me. And I would say people would want their hobbies, and they try for their hobbies to, express themselves, but I think it always ends up getting overshadowed with their job, because I mean, the first question anyone asks you after what's your name is, what do you do for work?
Right.
So people constantly, I feel like, are just defining themselves, and they're not even realizing it. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I'm a banker, or I'm a, real estate agent, or I'm a fucking car mechanic. And, like they are constantly thinking of that elevator speech to whoever they're talking to, that their hobbies just get lost in the mix, that it's not even a part of expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Unless it's personally within. And I would say that, yeah, that does fuck up their happiness. I think they get overshadowed with shit that they actually like.
Well, I think it's when you have a what causes people to have shitty forms of self-expression? And
Insecurity.
is there such a thing as shitty self-expression?
Yeah.
And I think that there is. We've established bumper stickers and license plates. And then we established tearing people down to bring yourself up.
So let me zoom back real quick.
He's gonna double check the camera again. Last week we just had a mishap on
Camera.
obviously me, so
Just make sure we keep hearing something. But so zooming out a little bit, you're saying, yeah, those are super zoomed in forms of shitty self-expression, but I think taking it back a little bit is the fuck is the word I'm trying to think of, dude? I'm losing all my thoughts tonight. It's because we're talking deep.
What's the root of it? That's what I'm trying to get to, is like, what is it that makes someone express themselves?
That's what I was looking for. Inauthenticity. And I would say bumper stickers 100% of the time are not 100% because we gave the exceptions.
We made exceptions.
But outside of those exceptions, it's never truly authentic. Because even think of politics. Your favorite politician, he's going to be gone after a certain amount of time. So if you get a bumper sticker or you get a flag, for instance, of whoever, and you're flying that around, you're going to have to switch and change that. So you're really not that big of a fan of him. You're just a big fan of that guy or girl today.
Well, I think what it boils down to is that you're trying to change someone else's mind.
Yeah, and that's immediately inauthentic.
You think you can do that via sitting at a red light. And to me, it's insulting. Like, if I'm on the opposition of that person and I see their bumper sticker, the first thought in my mind is not, oh, dude, wow, I didn't even think of that. All I needed was a bumper sticker to tell me, doy, No, dude, it's fuck you. Like, how do you think that this is the way to change my mind? Your little coexist sticker.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, and it even goes to the guys that have the thing like, I don't call 911. It's like a gun.
But I'm down with coexist. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, you have if you're able to have a conversation about your sticker, then you could change someone's point of view on something. But like, if you're just jamming stickers down people's throat because you think that that's going to make a difference.
Well, people don't normally like confrontation. So if they see someone with an opposing view, they know they're going to get in an argument. So they're probably not going to go to someone they don't know and be like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about your sticker and let's get in a political argument about whatever you got back there.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, just don't have it.
I know.
Have the conversation as humans.
Right, but I'm saying for people that do, you can't really change someone's mind in that environment, because even still, they're going to be turned off because you've showed your cards. You've showed what you believe.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, if you give that much of a shit about, let's say,
no, I know what you're saying.
If you feel like if you feel like you want to campaign, you want to do someone's job for them so bad that you want to have a sticker.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just go person to person, every person you interact with, and say, hey, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. I'm voting for this person. Here's why. Why don't you vote for him?
I mean,
those people should do that if they really give a fuck. Why have a bumper sticker?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes to the same thing, I think, with religion. I think a lot of people in religion try to do the lead by example. So they think by expressing it out and then leading by example, or even having a conversation and talking about it. And like, the thing is, like, there's a lot of times people aren't necessarily like wanting to have a conversation, or they're not either, like, they're maybe not ready to have a conversation, or maybe they don't ever want to have a conversation. And yet it does more harm than good for whatever you're trying to campaign for, whether it be politics or religion.
Right. It's counterproductive.
Like you were saying in the beginning, it turns people off, I think.
It's just so counterproductive. And I think it'd be more productive if you really give a shit to just go out there person to person and actually talk to them.
Yeah.
Or don't have the sticker.
Or just be so cool. Like, what I truly believe is, I feel like if you really want to make a difference, and you want people to join whatever you are, whether it's religion or political party, like, actually just be a cool guy or girl, be a cool person. And then if they happen to bring it up in conversation, they're going to want to be more like you, probably.
But that's what you're doing. What I was saying to do for the person campaigning. You're campaigning for the platform of cool. Every interaction that you have is a cool, pleasant interaction with someone new.
Yeah.
You're never having you know what I mean? Like, it's never that thing. And so getting rid of the stickers and actually expressing yourself would go a long way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that ultimately what I would imagine is that people are doing this because they're unable to express themselves either at home or at work.
Yeah, I would say it's an unfortunate mix of both.
And so they don't even know how to express themselves. It's so like people are so locked up from being able to express themselves or being free to. And it really wasn't even a cool thing to do until fairly recently.
Yeah, well, the other thing I think too is like you think back being younger, they kind of program your mind a little bit to not fully think for yourself. I feel like even in school and like everything like that, like because everyone's saying you got to go to college and you got to do this a certain way, and it's like everyone plays football, that's the cool sport. Now everyone does this, that's a cool sport. Like every state and school, they try and make one or two things like the main cool thing, and then everything outside of that's just for losers or for nerds.
Well,
and they
I
make
think
it
those
hard.
things form over time too. Like depending on where you're at, what drives money for boosters, like a lot goes into it. Like they don't have these all powerful beings at the head of the school saying,
No, definitely
hockey and football
No.
for this school and that school, soccer and tennis.
But I think it's just the cause and effect of that it trickles down to you get a bunch of people that don't want to be playing football, but they play football because they think it's going to get them chicks, or they think it's going to do this, or they think it's going to do that. Get their college paid for.
Right.
But they want to be
make their parents proud. How about that?
They want to be a painter, but they're playing football and then going to college trying to get their college paid for to get a degree that's not painting.
Meanwhile, they're getting brain injuries and concussions and haven't picked up a paintbrush since 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that's
pretty much my story with my drawing.
That's a bummer deal. That's a bummer deal for a lot of people, and I think that a lot goes into that. I think parents,
I think, are a lot to
like
accountable.
Our parents are like the thing that they did better than I think anything else was that they were supportive of whatever we did.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we wanted to do, they were gonna, even if they didn't know anything about it, they were gonna support it and figure out how to
get involved and allow us to really express ourselves in whatever way we were trying to do it.
Yeah, like I had long hair always, even though it drove Dad nuts. I got
long hair now. It's driving him nuts.
I had certain style, like hockey. I had a fishbowl at a certain age. Like there was just these things that I did to express myself within that. The music's a big thing, dude. Yeah. Like what kind of music you listen to and when you listen to it.
Yeah, that's a huge, I would say that's one of my favorite ways to express myself. Obviously through my stories, like that's like the main thing I post.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge form of expression, and there's a lot of different ways that it can be used to express how you're feeling or what kind of mood you're in, the vibe of the day, whatever it is. Music is really good for that. But again, it goes back to your day-to-day life. And for us, obviously, we're very fortunate to have a lot of personal freedom in our situation. We're not employees of the man who's telling us what to wear, how to wear it, when to be here, when to be where, and
time to leave, what time to get lunch, what time to do this.
Yeah, asked to go to the bath. Like it just, that stuff to me seems so ridiculous.
Yeah.
All of it. Like even to the point of, this is something that isn't totally unanimous amongst everybody, but like dress codes, I think are crazy. And I think it's definitely eased up.
It's eased up a lot. Like even within like the past like 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd say it's slowly starting to get more lax.
But then once quarantine hit, once this COVID thing hit, dude, I think everyone's eased up on dress codes, which is nice. But like, there's a lot of like just formality things to where people aren't able to interact with other people how they actually would.
Yeah, so you got this guy who's probably not happy with his life because he's got someone above him that's being a dickhead who gets to express himself at the top.
Right.
Knocks it down to this guy. So this guy's stressed out. He makes good money, so he can't be too stressed out.
Right.
He takes it out on his fucking employees and shirks these really intense rules, dress code, everything like that. And then now you have a whole flock of people who are miserable coming in every single day. What's the productivity look like? Not good. People aren't happy.
And then ultimately the product, though, is that you get all these other people who are like, something that has driven me nuts since becoming an adult, and like being in business and stuff, is seeing other people my age and how they conduct themselves.
Yeah, I would agree.
The level of professionalism that they pretend to have.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn. But then on Instagram, their stories on the weekends are them popping bottles at the clubs and doing crazy stuff during the week, and
or even in person. Like it'd be someone like you were like boys with and like growing up, like great friends with, and then you're talking to them and they're being all like,
weird.
How you doing? Good, bro. How you been, man?
Yeah, and it's like, dude, are we in a LinkedIn direct message?
Bro, chill out.
Like, what the fuck are you? Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, like we were great friends.
We were really tight, dude. Like we showered.
We
together.
said our first fuck. We said fuck together the first time.
We've showered together, and you're treating me like this is a LinkedIn message.
Yeah, it's a weird game, but it trickles down, dude, because it's the pressure and the lack of expression that these people get at work. And this is what I've said actually for a few years, and why I think generations keep getting called out for being shittier than the one before, because you got these angry parents who are taking it home and they're not happy. So they're pissed off because they're not making money. They can't express themselves. They're not doing what they wanted to do when they were 20. And then, you've got these little kids that they're slowly starting to grow up. And then they try and pin certain things on them, like certain sports they have to play or certain things they have to do. And then their teachers aren't happy because their teachers aren't making the money that they want to do. The teachers can't express themselves. They're not allowed to have the opinions that they have. And then it just is this more and more thing to where I feel like keeps getting worse. And then those kids grow up to be like that. They don't know how to express themselves because they weren't allowed to as a kid.
Right.
So now they have to be like, I think this is how I'm supposed to be. I'm an adult now, adulting. I've got to.
Well, also there's a bit of a fear element too. Like you got to be a little bit vulnerable. You know what I mean? If you really want to be, fully with it, because without being a little bit vulnerable, the authenticity just lacks automatically right out the gate. And so a lot of self-expression is being a little vulnerable. And if you don't allow yourself to be that, for whatever reason, you got this hard shell because you're this big, tough fucking guy, whatever, then any form of expression that you have is going to be inauthentic.
Yep.
So
you're not letting your guard. It's like what we were talking about the movie thing. It's being too cool for stuff.
Yeah, you have to have conviction with your feelings and your opinions.
Yeah.
And like, you can't just have these whimsical things that put you in a box that you want to be in, that someone else made a sticker for.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too, is like for so long, I think, especially when we first started this podcast, I was one of those guys who's so sold on like numbers. Like if it gets a lot of views, high quality. If it's expensive, high quality. Right. If it's this, it's high quality. Like, and constantly grading things off of a number, but like you can't, you can't
do that.
You can't quantify things, like certain things, like who's to say just because of whatever our numbers are, who's to say we're any worse of a podcast, because there could be someone that hates a more popular podcast but loves listening to us.
Yeah, there's no way to figure it out when you get to that point.
Yeah.
Like when you're in something like what we're doing, there's no way to have a best podcast.
Yeah. Anything
even
really
better than.
creative, anything artistic or anything creative. Like, I think the only time you can physically be better than someone and I guess see is sports, maybe, because you say for hockey, you have a center versus center, and you can look at numbers, but there's different roles, there's different things. So there's better at this or better at that.
And you have to look at an isolated skill, like what they do in the skills competition, where it's fastest skater.
Yeah.
But the fastest skater is usually never the leading goal scorer.
But also, too, is the fastest skater the best skater? Because are we talking about best as in form?
Well,
so
that's
maybe not.
That's a different thing. But we're just saying best hockey player. It's just impossible to do,
right,
based off of each individual thing. You know, there's too much that goes into it.
I think a lot of people have
it's the same thing with this.
A fucked up understanding on what greatness really is. Or maybe I just have a really
I think that there's too much of an obsession with good and evil. I think it's more of that than it is a misunderstanding of greatness, because everyone just wants something to pin against.
Like, yes and no, though, because some people just want to be great. They just want to be great at whatever they're doing. They just want like
no, but for a spectator though.
Okay, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because they'll take a Jordan versus LeBron, or they'll take Crosby versus Ovechkin, or Crosby versus Gretzky, or now McDavid versus Crosby or Gretzky.
Right.
And it's just like someone's always constantly trying to pin that for sure. But it's the same thing with political parties and different religions and everything. People are so tribal about shit. And
then you have like all these other secondary elements too with sports too. Like Gretzky wasn't Gretzky without Marty McSorley. What would have happened if there was no enforcer in Edmonton or LA for Gretzky? You know, what if it was Bob Probert instead? You know, like there's just all of these what ifs that could have totally changed the outcome of what we know to be the greatest hockey player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And then once one is established, then you're really fucked.
But I think more so with like with sports, it's a little more black and white just because you do have statistics. But like, I'm thinking more in terms of like music and stuff like that. Like, because the song's a number one, it's not a better song than something that's been heard by 10 people. More so than like with that, because like with that, you can kind of get like, you can pin things out and do it and like that. But even like this, Clapton versus George Harrison, you can't really tell who's a better guitar player if they go back and forth. Someone can like it better.
They did it,
but it was because they had one person as the audience and they got to pick who they preferred. So
she did.
Yeah, but point being,
she picked Eric Clapton.
Yeah, we've talked about that. But my point is like you can't say though you like George Harrison better.
I just like him as a person, but I think Clapton's a better guitarist.
Okay. Well, okay. Makes me feel a little better.
I mean,
about you.
Fuck off.
But no, I mean, okay, but point being though, like we can't like, so Drake, right? He's had more downloads or more listens than say, I would probably, he for sure has had more streams than Tupac. Not a better rapper than Tupac.
Yeah, no,
in terms of, well, but then again, who am I to say? Who am I to say who's a better rapper? Because I got a buddy who fucks with Drake heavy, doesn't like Tupac. So like, you can never.
Yeah, but
the point is, I guess, just to express yourself authentically. And
yeah, and if it is authentic, here's something though, like, I don't know, dude. The music's a slippery slope, and the music thing is strange because so much of the radio specifically is controlled by individuals, like the media. Radio is the media, and the top 20 is picked by these people, and it's just repeated and played and played and played and played. And psychologically, there's something that says in your brain, the more that you're exposed to something, the more of a chance there is that you're going to like it.
100%.
So the more that you hear these same 20 songs, the more that you're going to like it.
We just got this dumbed down
you're
fucking
literally
brain.
letting yourself be brainwashed every time you turn on the fucking car if you're listening to the radio. And like singers have sung about it. There's been a lot about it, but like still for some reason the radio is the safe place for people to get their music. And
then it gets worse though, because then now labels have their hands in that. So now labels are telling certain artists what they can and can't make, not allowing an artist to express themselves. They're the artist.
Right.
Not fucking whoever the head of Columbia is, Columbia Records.
And you have these consumers now who are they're
just
so
allowing
detached.
It to happen. Yeah.
Because they're so detached.
They have no idea.
No idea, dude, that this isn't what Harry Styles was singing about or whatever.
Yeah, like it really makes you wonder like how much music a lot of these popular artists have that are really just homegrown and good that haven't been released because it didn't get accepted.
Look at a guy like Post Malone, dude. I would love.
He wanted to be a metal.
I would love.
He was in a metal band before this.
To get access to some of his hard drives.
Yeah,
because I bet it is chocked full of a bunch of stuff.
You don't have a tattoo of Stevie Ray Vaughan on your hand,
or all 4 Beatles.
Yeah, or all the Beatles, and not be sick at guitar. Now you've even seen him play at a store on YouTube.
And Kurt, dude. He's got Kurt on his page.
Yeah.
And I think Jim.
Yeah. I don't know who all he's got, but he's got a lineup on there.
He's got Jim, the Beatles. We just named them all.
SRV, but like, yeah. So I mean, and that sucks though. It sucks that he can't. He's expressing himself in other ways, like with the Bud Light and the drinking and stuff like that. But again, it just seems the whole party boy lifestyle to a point seems a little bit forced, because when you see him in those videos that he's not doing for views, or he's doing it for some small guitar shop and he's just trying out a Gibson SG and a Telecaster. He's not
doing that for everyone.
No.
He's doing that for him.
He's doing that for him. And that's my point, is that like, it's such a shame that we live in this world that we don't get authentic self-expression. We do. And we got people like...
People don't seek it out, though. People are too lazy.
Exactly.
That's not Post Malone's fault.
No.
Like, that's not his fault. It's not.
No, I know. It's not, but...
He's making money so that one day he can... He's probably chasing the ultimate form, I imagine. If you're selling out like he is...
Yeah, I mean, I just know, like, for instance, you got people like... that are able to still, like, because he's made enough money at this point to where he could go back and do that. Like, look at MGK, for example. You can tell he really wanted to be a skate punk artist because he's running with that and ran with that out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, but he's good at it too.
I know.
I mean, he should be the new singer of Blink-182 if they can't get Tom back. But how do we fix it? You know, like, that's a question.
I think it's gonna slowly start to work itself out. Like, the more we've got people that go independent with certain things, we'll see what happens. As we were talking about the last episode. No, with movies though too. I'm saying, like, with the last episode that we did, like, I think with the world we're in now and more people having to do DIY stuff, or like things being smaller productions and that kind of being the new thing, like, I think it'll slowly start to phase out. Like, I think more people will get turned off by the media, so they'll start listening to more podcasts and stuff like that to get their news. Not necessarily a podcast like ours, but like a more news-centric podcast. It's a little less produced. And then they'll switch to, you know, not using, they'll maybe start to actually listen to music and outside of just the radio, because maybe radio stations are going to slowly fizzle out. I just think we're gonna need those to start to fizzle out, and then artists to become popular without a label. Like Chance the Rapper, who I felt like had a great opportunity. Not to say that he fucked off with it. It just seems like the steam of the whole no label thing kind of went away, when that was really, I felt like, becoming a trend, and now I don't feel like it's a trend anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of other shit's happened. I think that all that stuff is gonna help, and I think it's gonna start with people being able to do it in their own lives. Like, people have to look at themselves in the mirror and say, how can I express myself more authentically today? You know, and do that every day. And I think that the more people can do that, the more people can allow themselves to find true hobbies where they really are expressing themselves. And then I think that the real key to life, at least from a personal economic standpoint, is finding a hobby to where you express yourself and then monetize it, and then find multiple of them. You know, that way you're building this engine for yourself that you're passionate about, that you want to be doing, that every day is a pleasure to grind, and you're expressing yourself all along the way. That way, when you go home, your attitude's no different than when you were at work. And then I think all that stuff that you were just saying with the media is just gonna pop it up. What do you think?
I think it's going to work itself out, but I think we have a while.
Starts in the home. And then, you know, there's that interview with that I sent you like a month ago with, in terms of music, but I think you could do it with everything. But John Frusciante was saying, ask other people what kind of music they like. Ask, you know, people that you like what they're into. But you can go deeper than music and figure out like what kind of, but I think it's being self-aware though too. Like, if you're not self-aware, this is almost impossible to really find what you're actually interested in. But I think the key is vulnerability and security. You know, like, if you're secure, then you allow yourself to be vulnerable. If you allow yourself to be vulnerable, then you can authentically express yourself. But if you're insecure, you're fucked out the gate, because then you can't. If all you're worried about is massaging your ego, then you're never going to be vulnerable enough to authentically express yourself.
Yeah.
And you're just going to be unproductive to a productive society.
Yeah,
right?
fuck not even being happy. It's just being unproductive. It's like, deeper than not being happy.
Because eventually the world will figure out these little kinks. We have enough natural problems to keep us in a not perfect state.
Yeah, keep us in this simulation we're living in.
We'll never be perfect here, but human to human interactions definitely can get better.
They need to.
And I think that authentically being able to self-express ourselves is a very, very good place to start. But you got to be secure, you got to be vulnerable, and that's the recipe.
And honestly, dude, roll with the punches, because you're still gonna have those dickheads that are talking shit. So if you just roll with the punches, you know, you don't really care.
Yeah. And I think being able to hold your own in a fight if you need to.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Because it helps with the confidence, doesn't it? Just interacting with people, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about that on my episode of my interview. That was like a big reason I got into MMA, was so I could, you know, in case someone were to fucking try and swirly me, I could triangle choke him or something.
Yeah, dude.
Give him a Kimura.
Right. Yeah, dude. I think that's helpful. But anyway,
sign up your local jiu-jitsu gym. See if that's a hobby. If not, try kickboxing or something, and then just find yourself within that. Push yourself to those limits. See where you can go, how deep you're willing to go, and then your hobbies will just sort themselves out.
And then, dude, you figure out how to monetize them.
Yeah.
And then you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Damn. That's a good ending.
Good ending to a good episode.
Great episode. I don't know if
our best ones, dude.
That was a good episode. Definitely, well, easy, because best. We were just talking about that. I mean, we're just expressing ourselves. There's no best.
Well, we stayed on course. You know, just in terms of like putting together
on paper.
Yeah, just for us.
It's been a good amount of time, and we started Productive episode. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, because we have other episodes that are good.
They're great.
great. They're all good. They're all great.
This one was productive.
But that's every show. Everyone's show. There's something's great for somebody.
This one was productive.
Very productive.
All right. Before we get too unproductive, we just want to end it by saying thank you. And be sure to subscribe, like, and share.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be helpful. And again, I know I'm the worst with announcements, but
Did you ever get the Patreon thing?
well, that's what I'm about to say. I haven't. And the reason why is because we got to get the hats ordered first.
Communist.
They're not teaching me the difference of pepperoni U.
Yeah,
they didn't. Look, I don't know, but I gotta get some hats ordered, and they're gonna be a little bit different than the previous one. So
how different? Not too different.
Not too different.
All right, dude. Well,
We're just saying,
off.
you know,
We'll sign off. We'll talk about. We'll iron out the details.
yeah, but it's coming. It's coming soon though. Just keep your eye out.
Yeah,
Keep your ears
you'll
open
soon
and
be
your
able to
eyes
financially support the show. All right, for those of you guys who are tuning in, I'm Jay,
I am Z.
and together we are Jay-Z.
Cheer. Hove.
It's gonna be awkward.
I don't get it. You do the math.